The bank manager fired a single dad over $17. Minutes later, he tried to withdraw $63 million. The entire bank lobby fell silent the moment the security guard escorted Daniel Harper toward the glass doors. In one hand, the exhausted single father clutched a faded backpack filled with his daughter's school books. In the other, he held the termination letter that had just ended 12 years of loyal service, all because a $17 cash shortage appeared in his drawer at closing. As he reached the exit, Daniel paused, took one deep breath, turned around, and quietly walked back to the customer service desk with a single withdrawal slip. What happened next would leave every employee frozen in disbelief. If you believe kindness is stronger than judgment and that everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in compassion, and subscribe to Kindness Echoes. Your support helps keep stories like this alive. Daniel Harper had never imagined that $17 could destroy a life built on honesty. For over a decade, he had arrived before sunrise, balanced accounts with precision, greeted every customer with patience, and quietly ignored the long hours because every paycheck meant another month of stability for his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Ever since his wife passed away after a sudden illness, Daniel had carried 2 full-time jobs without complaint, dedicated bank employee during the day and loving father every evening. Every lunch break was spent helping Lily with homework over video calls. Every weekend belonged to school projects, laundry, and bedtime stories. There was never enough money, but there was always enough love. The previous evening had been chaos. The bank had been unusually crowded, computers crashed repeatedly, and customers lined up until closing time. Daniel stayed 2 hours late to help balance the vault. Exhausted and distracted by a call from Lily's teacher about a school trip payment, he completed the final cash count. The next morning, auditors reported that his drawer was short by exactly $17. Daniel immediately offered to repay the missing amount from his own pocket. $17 was hardly enough to buy dinner for 2. But the new branch manager, Victoria Lawson, refused to listen. She believed strict policies mattered more than circumstances. Standing behind her polished office desk, she announced that integrity could not be compromised and that even a small shortage proved negligence. Before Daniel could explain, security was instructed to escort him out in front of customers and co-workers. The humiliation hurt far more than losing the job. The employees who once laughed with him avoided eye contact. Some looked sympathetic but remained silent, afraid they might become the next example. Daniel walked toward the exit with tears hidden behind tired eyes, wondering how he would explain everything to Lily. Then he remembered something. Months earlier, Daniel had been appointed trustee for a confidential financial transaction involving the charitable estate of an elderly businessman named Samuel Whitmore. Samuel had quietly built one of the country's largest investment groups before dedicating nearly all of his fortune to hospitals, scholarships, and children's charities. Daniel had helped him for years, never realizing the elderly customer had no close family left. Before Samuel passed away, he trusted Daniel with legal authority to execute a final transfer once specific documents were completed. Those documents had arrived that morning. Daniel calmly walked back to the customer service counter and filled out a withdrawal request. Amount, $63 million. The young teller stared at the paper, assuming it was a mistake. Within seconds, supervisors gathered around. Someone rushed to inform manager Victoria Lawson. She stormed into the lobby with visible irritation, convinced Daniel wanted revenge by creating a scene. But when the operations department verified the account details, every screen in the bank displayed the same impossible truth. The balance exceeded $63 million. The funds belonged to the Whitmore Family Charitable Trust. Daniel wasn't requesting money for himself. As the legally appointed trustee, he had arrived to transfer the entire amount into a national foundation that would build children's hospitals exactly as Samuel had instructed before his death. Victoria's confidence disappeared instantly. The very man she had publicly humiliated was now responsible for one of the largest transactions in the bank's history. Executives from headquarters joined emergency conference calls. Compliance officers rushed into the branch. Lawyers verified signatures. Every document proved authentic. For the first time that day, Victoria truly looked at Daniel, not as an employee number, but as a human being. She quietly learned something no performance report had ever revealed. Daniel had spent years volunteering anonymously at children's shelters. He secretly paid grocery bills for struggling customers. He donated paid vacation days to co-workers fighting illness. And every Christmas, without telling anyone, he bought winter coats for children whose parents couldn't afford them. Not one of those acts appeared in his personnel file. Only the missing $17 did. Headquarters immediately launched an internal investigation. Security footage from the previous evening revealed that another cashier had accidentally placed $17 into the wrong cash drawer during the computer outage. Daniel had never made a mistake at all. The bank cleared his record completely. Victoria stood before the entire staff and publicly admitted she had judged too quickly. She offered Daniel his position back with a promotion and a significant salary increase. Daniel thanked her sincerely. Then he politely declined. He explained that trust, once broken publicly, could not simply be repaired with a better title. Instead, he accepted an invitation from the Whitmore Foundation to become executive director of its charitable programs, where his experience helping ordinary people would create opportunities for thousands of struggling families. Months later, Lily proudly watched her father cut the ribbon on the first children's health center funded by Samuel Whitmore's final gift. Above the entrance stood a simple plaque that read, "Compassion sees value where judgment sees failure." Daniel smiled because he finally understood something life had been teaching him all along. Character is never measured by the mistakes people accuse you of making. It is measured by the kindness you continue showing after the world has treated you unfairly. Before we reach the end, tell us in the comments, if you had been in Daniel's place, would you have accepted the promotion or walked away to start a new chapter? If this story touched your heart and reminded you that kindness can change lives, please like this video, share it with your family and friends, leave your thoughts below, and subscribe to Kindness Echoes so together we can continue spreading stories that inspire hope, compassion, and second chances. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't proving people wrong. It's continuing to do what is right, even after they stopped believing in you.